All right, awesome. Thank you so much for coming, everyone. This is, in fact, the Jumbo Ventures Spring GIM, and we will get right into it. So we'll start off with some introductions.
Oops,
So
there we go.
My name is Ben Skinner. I am a co-president of Jumbo Ventures along with Tom Yang. Entrepreneurship is definitely a big part of my life. I'm super passionate about it, and I'm glad to see you all here today. Hopefully some of you share in my passion for entrepreneurship. I want to give all of our management team members a chance to give a quick introduction. So Tom, do you want to start us off?
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Tom. I'm the other co-president of Jumbo Ventures. I'm a sophomore. I'm studying international relations at UConn. Entrepreneurship is also a huge interest of mine. When I first came in freshman year, tried to build my first venture, and that didn't turn out so successfully. And so over the summer, Ben and I built Jumbo Ventures to try to support first-time founders like ourselves. And I'll let Patrick take it away.
Thank you, Tom. So I'm Patrick. I'm a senior chemical engineering major and director of marketing. And I got interested in entrepreneurship from my internship last summer. It was just a really great experience all around. It was super fun, and I learned a ton, both about my major, chemical engineering, and I also had the opportunity to learn a bunch of CS stuff that I really didn't get exposure to through academics. So I think entrepreneurship is a really great vessel for that.
Hi everyone, I'm Max. I'm a junior and I'm majoring in ACS chemistry and minoring in entrepreneurship. And entrepreneurship has also been a part of my life for as long as I can remember, from going back to elementary school selling Pokemon cards at a yard sale, all the way to teaching myself graphic design. And it's just been something that's been in my life all the time. And the first time I actually had a chance to formalize and actually start a startup was with Jumbo Ventures last semester. And it's been an incredible experience that I'm going to talk to you about a little bit more in a couple slides from now.
Hi guys, I'm Avantika. I'm the director of networking at Jumbo Ventures. I'm a junior majoring in computer science with a minor in economics. And I'm just really excited to be here to see what amazing things our cohort can produce. I'm personally really interested in entrepreneurship, particularly in the tech space, but I'm really excited to see what this semester has in store for us.
Awesome. Thanks, everyone. So now let's get into a bit more on what Jumbo Ventures actually does. So Jumbo Ventures is an early stage startup incubator, and we are completely student run. So what is a startup incubator, you ask? Basically, we take in a cohort of about 15 to 25 students each semester. And this is a group of students who have some interest in entrepreneurship. And we guide them through the first stages of creating a startup. So this means that you can join Jumbo Ventures without any kind of entrepreneurship experience. You can join Jumbo Ventures without having an idea for a startup. All you really need is an interest in entrepreneurship and a desire to learn more about how to create a startup. And now Tom will talk a little more about the specifics of what we actually do.
Yeah. So as Ben mentioned, we are an early stage incubator or accelerator, and we're focused on the early stage, meaning that we're helping you go from finding an idea, finding a problem worth tackling, to going to demo day. Every week, we have a speaker workshop hosted by a successful founder or investor or managing director or someone involved in VC, and they'll come and speak about a little bit about entrepreneurship, specifically their topic for that week. So it can be either about how do you find a problem, how do you do research, how do you talk to customers, how do you launch a program, how do you build the MVP, and we do this throughout our 10-week program. And at the end of the day, on our 10th week, we have a demo day where you pitch in front of 3 judges for a chance to get awarded $500 to continue your venture. And what's special about our demo day is that it's only open to the Jumbo Ventures cohort, and usually we have somewhere between 5 and 7 teams. And so you're really competing with these teams and not with the whole school or even alumni. And what's really cool that this way, the judges at the end can give personalized feedback to help teams continue with their work and hopefully continue building after they graduate the program. So as I mentioned a little bit, we host speaker workshops every week, and we also have a network of mentors who are similarly qualified as our speakers, who are just not geographically located near Boston, that are the active mentors for our teams. So after the teams are formed and they get some traction, we find suitable mentors to pair them with that can give customized advice to help these teams accelerate their process of building the venture. So sometimes a team needs help, how do you build a technical product? So we have a lot of mentors who are building technical product themselves or are technical experts that can help give advice on that. Otherwise, we also have mentors who are in a similar space, that in similar industry as the students that we're working on. Last semester, we had someone building something to help college students negotiate wages. And we so happened to have a mentor who was building a wage negotiating startup himself. So we paired them together and they were able to, the student was able to get valuable feedback from the mentor. We also have a system of deliverables that really make the backbone of our program. So you're not just in our program and following along the speaker workshop, but we also have a guided process for you to follow along every single week so that you're making progress on your venture and know what to do at each stage. Lastly, we also have many networking opportunities. Last semester, we hosted events with the MIT. I'm not sure if some of you guys went, but it was with one of our speakers who partnered with us to host the event at MIT that welcomed many Tufts students. We also have events through our greater network, which is called the College Ventures Network. And that is a global run student VC fund and accelerator program. And so you have schools from Brown, Oxford, Stanford, Harvard, and they sometimes host events that are open to everyone in that network to attend and learn from founders from across the globe. And some of these, so some of the speakers we have, they've gone through Y Combinator, which is one of the most prestigious accelerator programs. Techstars, same thing, and some other well-known programs that are really qualified speakers. So how are we different from other Tufts resources, and where do we fall in the Tufts entrepreneurship ecosystem? First off, what we pride ourselves in is three things. We provide the guidance, structure, and community to help students build their ventures. And we look across the board at other programs that Tufts offers. Obviously, Tufts has great classes, and they provide a lot of guidance, but not so much the structure and community. Same thing with the Jumbo Cafes and speaker events, as well as the pop-up coaching. So we really try to bring all three elements that we think are crucial to help students build their venture.
So here is a picture of our smiling fall 2021 cohort. As some of you may know, Max Levine was actually in our fall 2021 cohort. So I want to give him a chance to talk a bit about his experience as a cohort member the first time around.
Thank you for that. So I was a member of the first cohort, and it was probably one of the best decisions that I've made at Tufts so far. I wasn't so sure about it going into it because it's like the first time that this program has been around, and it's been only a positive experience. I learned all about how to found a startup and formalize the ideas process and create like a minimum viable product, also known as MVP, branding, marketing, how you can identify your market, all these crazy technical things that I didn't really have a formal understanding. And the best part is I learned from experts in the field and people who have done this before, people who have failed. And it's just something to learn about. And you can always ask these speakers, if you could go back to when you were in college as a freshman, sophomore, junior, or senior, and change one thing about your entrepreneurial experience, what would it be? And they would provide the most insightful and wise opinions on how they got to where they are today. And how they could have possibly changed their trajectory. And so the guidance has just been overwhelming from the cohort. And I was lucky to found a startup, House Hub, with Alona, who's standing next to me in the picture. And we're continuing to build on it today. We've actually just made some recent progress with branding, and I'm excited to see where it goes. And if anyone has any questions about my personal experiences from the cohort, you can always feel free to reach out to me.
Thank you so much, Max. So in the fall 2021 cohort, we had 20 cohort members, and every single one of these people was somebody who was passionate about entrepreneurship and really had some kind of driving vision. So to be honest, like join Jumbo Ventures, just like the idea of meeting like 19 other people who are super passionate about entrepreneurship, like that is enough. Like that by itself is enough reason to join Jumbo Ventures, I think. All super cool people. I'm still great friends with a lot of them. We also gave away $500 in funding last semester. We're trying to increase that number this year. But as Tom said, this is a pitch competition, basically only for members of the cohort. So by sheer numbers and just the smaller size of the competition, your chance of winning funding for your startup is relatively high. So that again is a really large advantage that we offer to people in our cohort. We also had 7 companies founded. Several of them are making some very exciting progress. I don't know if anyone here knows Andrew Schwartz. He was one of our fall 2021 cohort members as well. And he came into Jumbo Ventures with the idea that he wanted to make some kind of an AI tool to help people negotiate wages. And Jumbo Ventures really provided him the structure that he needed to like turn that into an actual like real thing. And he's working on coding it now. He won first place in our pitch competition at the end of the year. So he received funding, and now he is currently in talks with some venture capitalists to try and turn his idea into a full-time deal. So super exciting. Jumbo Ventures had a really great fall 2021 run, and we're hoping to make it even better in the spring. So now let's move on and talk about the actual application process. We are application based just to make sure that people who are joining our cohort have passion about entrepreneurship, and to make sure that it is a small enough group of people that we can provide that adequate structure that we're trying to create. So our application deadline is Friday, February 4th at 11:59 p.m. Eastern time. We will let you know if you have been accepted by the following Monday, so a pretty short turnaround. And then we will begin our first workshop within a week or two of that. We'll give you a short time period first to confirm and to reaffirm your commitment, but then from there we will get started with our workshops and just really get into it. The last big thing I want to talk about is just the question of what we look for in applicants, to give people a bit of guidance and some tips while they're filling out that application. So I'm going to turn it over to Tom to talk a little more about that.
Awesome. Yeah. So as we mentioned probably multiple times, the biggest thing is just having passion for entrepreneurship. But really what that means is, number one is the eagerness to learn. When you're entrepreneur, especially in the early stage, it's all about learning. One of the things that's most commonly heard about entrepreneurship is that it is the best learning experience because of how fast you're moving and how much you have to teach yourself. But luckily, this program, you get to work with some fantastic speakers, so that facilitates with the learning process. Number two is obviously the willingness to build. Although we're early stage and we don't require you to have a product at the end, building is still an essential part. You got to go out there and validate your idea. You got to talk to users. You got to try to maybe make your MVP, which is the initial version that you use to test your idea. All these things require building and dedication. Again, since we are a small cohort, we want to make it a tie bond for the group. And so another important thing is that you're here because you're interested to meet new people. We have some great people in our cohort last semester, and the people that got the most out of it were the people that were most engaged and wanted to meet new people. We also encourage people to go on teams if they want to meet co-founders. So that will help if you have an open mind towards other people. Also, because entrepreneurship is perhaps new to many of you, and it was to me when I first started as well. The desire to push beyond your comfort zone is also a critical point to succeeding with this accelerator program. You're learning, you're building everything that you mostly haven't done before in this sense. And so pushing beyond your comfort zone is important. Also, again, entrepreneurship, innovation, they're kind of the same thing. So to be able to innovate, that's all, to have the creativity and desire to innovate, that's huge. Last thing is entrepreneurship takes time. A real venture sometimes doesn't get built until 5 or 10 years out. And obviously, we're not requiring that timeline, but regardless, to be able to make progress, to be able to build, to learn, you got to put in time. And that's ultimately what we look for as well. With that said, I'll give it to Vantika, who will talk a little bit about what we have moving forward before our application deadline.
Okay, thank you, Tom. So in the next 2 weeks prior to our application deadline, we have 2 open events. These events are for those interested in joining the cohort, and honestly, even those who aren't necessarily interested in joining the cohort, but just want to learn something about entrepreneurship from some Tufts alums. So Dr. Ali Hill is not only a Tufts alum, but she is the founder of an organization that provides essentially advice to female entrepreneurs on how to be successful. And Dr. Hill is incredibly successful in her work. She has not only been she's been recognized by Forbes, but she has also given a TEDx talk, and all of that information is linked in our link tree, which is available in our Insta bio. And also, if you aren't in our e-list, I'm going to plug that now. Throw your email in the chat and we'll add you, because all of that information will also be included there. That event is actually tomorrow evening at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. And then the following week, we have an event with Philip Sitman, who is another entrepreneur, Tufts alum, but he's going to focus his chat on AI and ethics with AI, particularly in the entrepreneurship workspace. He has been a part of several different entrepreneurial ventures, but his most recent one was an AI company that focuses on building and designing essentially design and marketing components for nonprofit organizations. So he has a lot of involvement and interest in the political space. So he's been finding ways to apply his passion for politics and civic study related topics with AI. So that event will be on February 2nd, which is just a couple days before our application deadline. We'd strongly encourage you guys to come to either or both of the events, regardless of whether you apply, but also especially if you apply, because these are 2 incredible speakers that we were fortunate enough to get so early in the semester, and who, if you're interested in joining, I would imagine that you'd be interested in taking advantage of yet another 2 amazing mentors that you can learn from.
Great. So just one last thing is, if you join Jumbo Ventures, your number of LinkedIn connections will increase by at least 30, probably 45, and that makes you look super cool online. With that said, this is a link that will take you, where does it take you, Tom?
It's our link tree with all our events. So
to our link tree.
It has our application, our upcoming events through our Facebook links, our website, and I believe our Instagram too. But yeah, thank you guys so much for coming, and we'll open up the questions now if anyone have questions about our program, the application, or anything.
Also, visit our fancy website. Tom made a super nice website, and it would be a shame if no one looked at it, so please look at it. Yeah, we can share these PowerPoint slides. We will put it on our website. Speaking of that. Any questions, anyone?
I have a question.
Yes, what's up?
Questions. First, in terms of the competition and working in pairs or in working as a team, if a lot of your ideas are more so solo ventures, how would that still work in terms of a team? Do you kind of frown more so on solo groups versus 2 people in groups? And also my next question was, in terms of like meetings and workloads? Is there like deadlines that are required for certain stages? Like, how does that, kind of work? Those are just my two questions.
Yeah, great. So teams are completely optional. We do encourage you to work in teams because studies show that startups with multiple founders are more likely to be successful, but you are free to work by yourself. Actually, the guy who won our first semester competition was a solo team. So that's completely fine, and it does not like affect your experience at all. So it is whatever you prefer. Second question, so with deadlines, we have recommended deadlines. We don't really enforce that. If you choose to not do anything, that is a terrible shame, and you will not get nearly as much out of the program, which is why we do strongly encourage you to meet those. But at the end of the day, Jumbo Ventures is a self-driven, self-motivated program, and you kind of get out of it what you put in. Does that work?
One thing I just want to add to that, Ben, is, as Ben said, it's like a terrible shame if you don't take advantage of, all of these opportunities that, we try to provide for you guys to learn. And more importantly, we actually did have a cohort member last semester who really hit it off with one of our speakers and did get offered an internship. So something to keep in mind is that, through all of these events that we're hosting for the workshops and for the cohort members is, you are making an impression on different successful Tufts alum. And so that can open doors for other opportunities outside of the venture that you're working on this semester. So like doing your best and showing that you're putting a good effort forward can only help you get the most out of this club.
Just to add on to that and kind of answer Kevin's question, which he put in the chat, it says, what will the general workload be per week? Should this club be a primary focus? To just re-say what everyone's been saying, it's you get what you put in. And I really recommend everyone full throttles, especially if you're passionate about entrepreneurship. And it's okay if you full throttle the whole semester and you realize like it might not be the right direction, because one of the most important things in entrepreneurship is being ready to fail and being ready to adapt. And it's all about being full throttle, and it could be a primary focus for you, and that's probably where you would get the most out of it.
Any more questions? Cool. Well, we will stick around here for a few moments if anyone else wants to ask anything, but that's all we've got planned for tonight. So thank you all for coming, and I hope to see your name on our list of applications or at one of our upcoming speaker events. Thank you all.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
I'm going to stop the
Yeah.
recording. Oh, sorry.
Oh wait.
Go ahead.
Yeah. No. I had a question. So sorry. This is just regarding. I think Tom and Ben. I had emailed you beforehand. Right. So it's just regarding that. In a position like that, which is management related, would I still be able to like attend and like ask questions and be involved in the events and the activities as if I were like a participant?
Yeah, absolutely. So you're asking if joining the management side will prevent you from doing the program itself?
Yes.
No, we don't think so. I mean, ultimately, when people decide the winners is not us. We have people more qualified than us to come and judge. So there's no like actual barriers from doing that. And Ben is
Right.
working on a startup himself, and following along, I'm sure has helped him a lot too. And so the answer is there's no contradiction to doing both if you're capable.
All right. Oh
of
no.
at least
All right.
because
I
they both take
appreciate
time.
that. Yeah, no, I appreciate because it just seems like there were so many opportunities here and I didn't want to miss out on either. So yeah, no, I appreciate that answer. So that's all I wanted to ask. Anyway, thanks for the presentation.
Thanks, man.
Of course.